Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Narendra Modi to be the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Palestine. Palestinian ambassador discloses news of the upcoming visit on Rajya Sabha television. Campaigning ends for the first phase of assembly elections in Gujarat with hectic efforts by both the BJP and the Congress to woo the voters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi campaigns in Surat, reiterates commitment to work towards an all-round development of the state. Centre tells Supreme Court it can extend deadline for mandatory linking of Aadhaar to various services till March 31st next year. Court to set up a 5-judge constitution bench next week to hear petitions seeking interim stay on mandatory linking of Aadhaar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates B.R. Ambedkar International Centre, says the centre will prove to be an inspiration to promote thoughts and teachings of the father of the Indian Constitution. And United Nations Security Council to debate Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital on Friday. Palestine and Turkey say that recognition is in breach of international law and UN resolutions. India says its position on Palestine is independent and not determined by any third country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Palestine soon. He will be the first Indian Prime Minister to visit the country. Palestinian Ambassador Adnan A. Abu-Aleja gave out the information exclusively to Rajya Sabha television on Thursday. Taking part in the panel discussion The Big Picture, the ambassador said India has been supportive of the Palestinian cause and the two-state solution. He, however, did not elaborate on when the visit will take place. The news comes amid global consternation over the US declaring Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
India have a good attitude supporting the Palestinian cause and the two-state solution. And in this matter itself, I have discussed it with some official at the MAA. And normally they have the same attitude, to say the truth, that we don't react in each event, right? It has same even during the Al-Aqsa problem, but maybe I will announce here, and no one before you knows, that Mr. Modi will visit Palestine.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council will meet on Friday to discuss Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. 8 countries, including permanent members UK, Italy and France, requested the meeting amid claims from Palestine and Turkey that Trump's recognition is in breach of both international law and UN resolutions. Earlier in a statement, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said Jerusalem was the final status issue and must be resolved through direct negotiations. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has reiterated that in recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital, Trump is simply carrying out the will of the American people.
You know, there's a 1995 law in the United States that requires the United States to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and to relocate our embassy. So the president, after many, many reaffirmations by our Senate, including as recently as this past summer in a vote, I think was 90-0 with 10 abstentions, the president is simply carrying out the will of the American people.
Well, protests on the West Bank erupted against US President Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. 17 people were injured after Israeli army resorted to gunfire on protesters. They also fired tear gas shells and used water cannons on them in the West Bank city. Israeli military also reinforced troops in West Bank, deploying several new army battalions while putting other forces on standby, describing the measures as part of its readiness for possible developments. Well, of course, this was the big decision that US President Donald Trump took overnight, and we've seen the repercussions there in the city of Jerusalem, where clashes erupted after the decision was taken by Donald Trump. Well, let's now get you the latest from the poll-bound state of Gujarat. Well, campaigning for the first phase of assembly elections in Gujarat came to an end on Thursday evening. Political heavyweights of both the Congress and the BJP made one last effort to woo voters in districts that will face polls on December 9th. Prime Minister Narendra Modi campaigned in Surat, where he reiterated his party's commitment to work towards an all-round development of the state. Well, BJP President Amit Shah held a public rally in Mehsana, while Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath addressed voters in Rajkot. A number of Congress leaders also held press conferences in different cities. Speaking to media persons in Rajkot, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh once again attacked the BJP government over demonetization and GST. He also accused the ruling party of not acting against corruption. Voting in the first phase will be held on December 9th, that is Saturday. A total of 89 seats out of 182 are up for grabs in the first phase. Spread over 19 districts, these 89 seats span over the Saurashtra and South Gujarat regions. A total of 977 candidates are in the fray, including incumbent Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. 2 crore 12 lakh voters will cast their votes on Saturday at 24,689 polling centres. Massive security arrangements are in place for smooth polling in Gujarat. Well, our correspondent Panchanan Mishra is in Junagadh, where he spoke to students at the Bahauddin College. All these first-time voters want is jobs and good education. For them, caste is not a big issue and they prefer to vote on development.
हम जूनागढ़ में मौजूद हैं और जूनागढ़ में हमारे साथ युवा वोटर हैं जो शायद पहली या दूसरी बार वोट डालने जा रहे हैं और ये जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि युवा क्या सोचते हैं चुनावों को लेकर और उनके मन में क्या चल रहा है। ये बताइए, आप लोग युवा हैं, सबसे पहला एजुकेशन या नौकरी क्या है दिमाग में?
सबसे पहले तो एजुकेशन है, बाद में सोचेंगे कि जॉब या कोई नौकरी मिल जाए। तो सरकार इस प्रकार अच्छा कर रही है, भाजपा हो या कांग्रेस। जो युवाओं का मेन जो प्रॉब्लम है वो जॉब है। यहाँ पे बेरोजगार काफ़ी ज़्यादा है लोग, और सब एजुकेशन के बाद युवा सोचते हैं कि नौकरी मिल जाए तो अच्छा, और सरकार उसमें कुछ करे तो अच्छा।
क्या सोचते हो भाई आप?
बेरोजगारी दूर करे।
इलेक्शन को लेकर क्या सोचते हैं? चुनाव इतने दिन से चल रहा है, प्रचार रोज टीवी में न्यूज़ आती है, राहुल गांधी, नरेंद्र मोदी, इतनी बातें हो रही हैं। आप लोग क्या सोचते हैं मन में, जब टीवी देखते हैं या फिर अखबार पढ़ते हैं, क्या मन में आता है?
युवा वर्ग है वो तो आप सोच ही लगे, जीएसटी आया, नोटबंदी आया, सब लोग बोल रहे हैं कि उसका बेनिफिट कुछ नहीं हुआ, लेकिन उसका बेनिफिट हुआ है, लेकिन वो आम लोग नहीं समझ पाते। वो जो मोदी ने किया सब कुछ अच्छे के लिए किया है। जो 65 बरस की जब उसका राज था तब कांग्रेस ने कुछ ऐसे निर्णय ही नहीं लिए कि जिससे सामान्य प्रजा को कोई बेनिफिट मिले, कुछ अच्छा हो।
अच्छा, आप लोग क्या सोचते हैं? ये पटेल बहुत चल रहा है आजकल चुनाव में।
पटेल का तो पता नहीं, लेकिन युवा वर्ग का हमेशा सिर्फ यही एक एम होता है कि हम अपने देश के लिए कुछ करें और उसके लिए जो सच्चे लोग हैं उसको ही वोट दें।
आप क्या सोचते हैं?
आरक्षण के बारे में मैं सोचता हूँ कि पटेलों को तो ना आरक्षण अलग से ही मिलना चाहिए। वो अलग कोटा है SC ST OBC का, वो उसको अलग से दे दो, पटेलों को अलग से दे दो, तो कोई जॉब में और एजुकेशन में कोई फर्क नहीं रहेगा।
युवा क्या सोच रहे हैं, वोट डालने जाएंगे?
सभी युवाओं को मतदान करने ज़रूर जाना चाहिए, और मैं सिर्फ यही कहना चाहूँगा कि किसी भी पॉलिटिशियन की बातों में ना आकर सच्चाई क्या है यह सोचकर, और किसी भी पार्टी को नहीं, उम्मीदवार कैसा है यह सोचकर हमें मतदान करना चाहिए।
जो युवक हैं यहाँ पर बहुत जागरूक नजर आते हैं, और इन्होंने जो बातें कही हैं वो ऐसी बातें हैं जो राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर शायद बड़े बड़े नेता भी समझ नहीं हैं। तो हमें समझना पड़ेगा कि चुनाव में वोट डालना जरूरी है और उम्मीदवार ऐसा चुना जाना चाहिए जो कि सबके हित की बात करे, ना कि किसी विशेष हित की। जूनागढ़ में जुनैद के साथ पंचानन मिश्रा, राज्यसभा टीवी।
Meanwhile, in a Twitter message late on Thursday evening, Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala said that Congress leader Manishankar Iyer has been suspended from the primary membership of the party. A show-cause notice was also reportedly issued to him. Iyer was caught in the thick of a controversy over remarks that he used against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Well, moving on to other news now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the B.R. Ambedkar International Centre in the national capital on Thursday. Addressing the gathering, he said that the centre would be an important place for research on social and economic issues.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the B.R. Ambedkar International Centre in New Delhi on Thursday. Hailing Dr. Ambedkar's contribution in the development of the nation, the Prime Minister asserted that the centre will prove to be an inspiration for the promotion of the thoughts and teachings of the leader.
कि नई पीढ़ी के लिए ये केंद्र एक वरदान की तरह आया है, जहां पर आकर वो बाबा साहब के विजन को देख सकती हैं, समझ सकती हैं.
The Prime Minister also said that the government has developed 5 places related to Baba Saheb Ambedkar into pilgrimage spots.
दिल्ली के अलीपुर में जिस घर में बाबा साहब का निधन हुआ, वहां डॉक्टर अंबेडकर राष्ट्रीय स्मारक का निर्माण किया जा रहा है. इसी तरह मध्य प्रदेश के महू में जहां बाबा साहब का जन्म हुआ, उसे भी तीर्थ के तौर पर विकसित किया जा रहा है.
The Ambedkar International Centre is a fusion of Buddhist and modern architecture, and its foundation stone was laid in 2015. The Prime Minister also unveiled 2 statues of the Dalit icon at the centre. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, former JDU leader Sharad Yadav said he will move court against the termination of his membership from the Rajya Sabha. Talking to reporters on Thursday, he said this will be part of his fight against Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's alliance with the BJP. Yadav also said that he should have been given a chance to present his case either before the Privileges Committee or the Ethics Committee before his termination. Yadav further claimed that he will not accept an offer of Rajya Sabha membership from any other party, as it will dilute his fight against Nitish Kumar.
अमान अपमान के लिए नहीं, लोगों के हक के लिए यहाँ हैं और हक की लड़ाई जारी रहेगी. उसमें क्या बनना क्या नहीं बनना ये तो चलते रहता है. जब वो राज छोड़ दिया तो राज्यसभा क्या चीज़ है भाई? राज्यसभा लोकसभा तो जो बहुत लोग हो जाते हैं, लेकिन राज के लिए बहुत लोग मथा मारते हैं.
Well, the centre has informed the Supreme Court that it is willing to extend till March 31st next year the deadline for mandatory linking of Aadhaar to various services and welfare schemes. The Apex Court will now set up a 5-judge constitution bench next week to hear pleas seeking an interim stay on the centre's decision of mandatory linking of Aadhaar. However, February 6th would be the deadline for linking Aadhaar to avail uninterrupted mobile services. On October 25th, the centre had told the top court that the deadline for mandatory linking of Aadhaar to receive benefits of government schemes has been extended till March 31st, 2018, only for those who do not have the unique biometric identification number and were willing to enroll for it. Some business news now, where the markets finished higher on Thursday, rallying on the back of buying across the board. The Sensex rallied 352.03 points or 1.08% to end at 32,949, while the NSE Nifty gained 122.60 points or 1.22% to finish at 10,166. All BSE sectoral indices led by telecom, consumer durables, capital goods, power, realty, auto, metal and oil and gas traded in the green. The 30-share index had lost 205 points on Wednesday following the Reserve Bank's decision to hold interest rates. Buying by domestic institutional investors and a firm trend at other Asian markets led to the gain. DIIs has bought had bought shares worth over 995 crore rupees, while foreign funds sold shares of more than 1,200 crore rupees on Wednesday. Well, moving on now, President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid homage to honour the sacrifice of the Indian soldiers on the Armed Forces Flag Day today. Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan also visited the Kendriya Sainik Board in Delhi to mark the event. The country observes December 7th as the Armed Forces Flag Day since 1949 to honour the martyrs and the men in uniform who valiantly fought on our borders to safeguard the country's honour. Well, in other news now, the National Green Tribunal on Thursday held the Art of Living Foundation responsible for damage caused to the Yamuna floodplains. The panel said that the World Cultural Festival organized by the foundation in March 2016 had caused significant damage to the Yamuna floodplains. The verdict is based on a report submitted by an expert committee. The NGT, however, refused to impose any additional fine on the Art of Living Foundation. It said the compensation of 5 crore rupees deposited by it earlier will now be used for the restoration of the floodplains. The NGT bench directed the Delhi Development Authority to assess the damage and compute the cost of restoration in line with the recommendations of the expert panel. The Art of Living Foundation said it will contest the verdict in the Supreme Court. Here's a look at some other national news in Nationwide. 3 bodies were recovered off the Kerala coast, taking the death toll due to the cyclone Oki to 36, even as rescue operations are going on in full swing to trace the 96 missing fishermen. Meanwhile, shipping services from Kozhikode to Lakshadweep began today with around 60 passengers boarding a high-speed vessel from Bepur. The Delhi High Court on Thursday exempted Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal from personal appearance before the trial court on December 11th in a criminal defamation case filed by Rajya Sabha MP and SL Group Chairman Subhash Chandra. Justice Sangeeta Dhingra Sehgal, however, refused to stay the trial court's proceedings in the case and posted the matter for January 22nd. According to Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, the West Bengal government will announce a new information technology policy at the Bengal Global Business Summit in January. She said that the government has had discussions with industry bodies such as ASSOCHAM, CII and NASSCOM before framing the policy. The CM also said companies like TCS, Cognizant were expanding here and ITC Infotech will begin operations soon. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I am Dr. Vinay Gupta from Advanced Materials and Devices Division, National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi. Today we are using coal and conventional product for energy production, and these are not good for the environment. We should move towards the clean energy like silicon solar cell and other source of energy. My work is on the organic photovoltaic solar cell, and tomorrow you may see actually your clothes are entirely made up of the organic photovoltaic, very colorful, and it will produce the energy for you, charging and other application. Keep watching my Eurocop program this week.
The prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, hours after China's claim that an Indian drone had intruded into its airspace, the Defence Ministry responded with a statement claiming a probe is underway. The statement says, and I quote, an Indian UAV, which was on a regular training mission inside the Indian territory, lost contact with the ground control due to some technical problems and crossed over the LAC in the Sikkim sector. As per standard protocol, the Indian border security personnel immediately alerted their Chinese counterparts to locate the UAV. The exact cause of the incident is under investigation, but China's Defence Ministry has accused India of violating its airspace and conveyed dissatisfaction.
中方要求印方立即停止飞行器临边抵边的活动，与中方一道，共同维护好边境地区的和平与安宁。
Well, China has once again refused to support India's membership bid to the nuclear suppliers group. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Geng Shuan told the media on Thursday that there was no change in its stand and that efforts were on to forge consensus among the 48-member elite nuclear club about the admission of new members. He was responding to Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabakov's remarks in New Delhi that Moscow will speak to Beijing regarding India's membership into the NSG. A key member of the NSG, China has been stridently opposing India's bid on the grounds that New Delhi is not a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. China's opposition has made India's entry into the group difficult as the NSG works on the principle of consensus. Its repeated stonewalling has become a major stumbling block in bilateral relations between countries. Well, news now from neighbouring Nepal, where the final round of the historic provincial and parliamentary elections concluded on Thursday. 67% voter turnout was registered in the last phase of the elections that many people hope will bring the much-needed political stability in the Himalayan nation. The first phase of polling, which was held on November 26th, recorded a voter turnout of 65%. Voting took place for 128 constituencies of Parliament's House of Representatives and 256 seats of provincial assemblies in 45 districts. These elections are being seen as the final step in Nepal's transition to a federal democracy following a decade-long civil war till 2006 that claimed more than 16,000 lives. And here are some updates now from across the world in Global Buzz. Australia became the 26th nation to legalise same-sex marriage on Thursday. A packed public gallery in Parliament House at Canberra broke into cheers after the law was passed with fewer than 5 of 150 members voting against it. Australians had overwhelmingly endorsed legalising same-sex marriage in a postal survey that ran by the National Statistics Agency between September and November this year. Ousted Catalan leader Carles Puigdemont joined pro-independence Catalans from all over Europe gathered in Brussels. Nearly 50,000 people marched through Brussels' European quarter in support of Catalan independence and Carles Puigdemont, who avoided arrest in Spain by taking refuge in Belgium. Many people were draped in Catalan flags and there were chants of Puigdemont, president, all across the streets. Puigdemont's party, Together for Catalonia, is campaigning on a pro-independence ticket for December 21st elections, called by Madrid in an effort to resolve the crisis. North Korea's foreign ministry said military drills carried out by the United States and South Korea have made an outbreak of war imminent on the Korean peninsula. Even as two US B-1B bombers took part in the joint US-South Korean military drills on Thursday, tensions on the Korean peninsula rose markedly in recent months after North Korea's latest missile and nuclear test that was conducted in defiance of international pressure and United Nations resolutions. Let's now shift focus and bring you up to date with some news from the world of sports in SportsBeat. Indian cricket team captain Virat Kohli moved up 3 places in the latest ICC rankings for Test batsmen to grab the second spot. Kohli rose in the rankings after he slammed 2 double centuries in a row and recorded 3-figure scores in 3 consecutive matches in the 3 Test match series against Sri Lanka. Kohli started the series in 6th spot, past England skipper Joe Root, Cheteshwar Pujara, Kane Williamson and David Warner. He is currently ranked 1 in the ODI and T20 format. Tokyo 2020 organizers unveiled 3 pairs of candidate mascots for the Olympics and Paralympics. These mascots will be put to vote by elementary school students across Japan. The shortlisted mascots featured cats, foxes and raccoons. Each class in all elementary school across Japan will have 1 vote until February 22, 2019 in a bid to make the selection process transparent and to get children excited about the games. Cristiano Ronaldo became the first player to ever score in all 6 Champions League group games in one season as Real Madrid beat Borussia Dortmund 3-2. Borja Mayoral scored the opener for the Madrid side as they took a 1-0 lead over Dortmund. Cristiano Ronaldo then scored the second goal to make it 2-0. Pierre-Emerick struck twice to bring Dortmund level, but a goal from Lucas Vazquez just before the full time helped Madrid seal victory. Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez and Neymar are in a race to win the 2017 Ballon d'Or award. Cristiano Ronaldo is the favourite to retain the trophy as he helped Real win the Champions League and La Liga last season and is one of 7 Real players on the list. The only other Barca player in the running is Luis Suarez, while Paris Saint-Germain's Neymar is also included on the shortlist. Ronaldo won the award in 2008, 2013, 2014 and 2016. If he is victorious, he will join Lionel Messi on 5 Ballon d'Ors. A panel of journalists picks the winner. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.